Welcome to the Level Up Podcast. Our goal is that by listening to our podcast, you will be inspired to level up. With the help of some amazing guests, we'll be inspired by some inspirational success stories and find out how you can level up your business, your life, and your relationship with yourself. Because I know that by leveling up and balancing these three aspects of your life, you can make a difference and impact the lives around you. Level Up Podcast will be a series of interviews featuring successful professionals who are making a mark and a difference in their lives and others. They will share their incredible stories of how they did it, so you can be inspired and learn from the very best.
Hello, April. Abril, how are you?
Bien. Good, thanks.
Welcome to the podcast, Abril. It's a pleasure having you. We are so looking forward talking to you today. I'm excited that you were able to make up the time to be here today. So thank you for taking the time. I admire you. I look up to you. You've done an amazing job in Utah with the Hispanic market. Every time I see you, there's something new you're doing. So I am very, very happy that you were able to make up the time to be with us today. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for the invite. I'm happy to be here.
Amazing. So for our audience that don't know who Abril is, could you please tell us who you are, where you're from? Tell us a little bit about who you are so they can get to know who Abril is.
Yes, well, my name is Abril. Just like Berta said, I have been in real estate for almost 3 years as a full-time real estate agent. I am mom of 3. My 3 kids, well, the oldest one is 20 years old. Then I have a 10-year-old. And then I have a 7-year-old boy. And I love to work in real estate. I love my clients. I love what I do. And I guess people notice that. And that's why I'm here.
Amazing. Definitely. You can see that you love what you do. Every time I speak to you, very passionate about what you do. But tell me a little bit, are you from Mexico? Where are you from? Tell me a little about your history. Where are you from?
So I am from Mexico. I grew up in Mexico and I have been here since 2004. So 18 years.
Wow.
I grew up in Mexico. My oldest daughter, she was born in Mexico. And then I decided to come to USA. So, yeah.
So the story began in Mexico. What part of Mexico is that?
Veracruz is the
East Coast of Mexico. And coming here, tell me a little bit of what was that like? I know that for me, I came when I was 19 and just getting into the new environment, new language. What was that like for you? Can you tell me a little bit about that part of your life? How was that adjustment? What was it like coming in here? And obviously now you're very successful. You've done amazing. But what was those few years? What were those like?
Well, the funny part is that I still struggle with that. So even though people doesn't believe it, I struggle with that. And my confidence in English and everything that I have done so far is in Spanish. And sometimes I compare myself with a restaurant because I always wanted to be with the English speakers, work with them. And then it's like, well, Abril, just think like a restaurant, there is Mexican restaurants, probably they can sell just American food like everyone else, but that is what they make different because they do Mexican food. So you work for Latinos and that is okay. I'm doing really, really good. So probably I don't have to change anything, but sometimes, I struggle and maybe I can do a little bit more. Maybe I can push myself just probably not for the commission, not for the check, just another way to put like a goal to myself. But it was really hard, to be honest. The first 2 years when I was living in North Carolina, when I tried to speak English and people will be like, I don't understand what are you saying. You will try again and then they are like, nope, I don't get it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, but now if they don't understand me, okay, that's okay. I can spell it to you. I need things. I want things,
I love it. I love it because I did the same thing. I thought I knew a little bit of English, but then when I started speaking the language, like they did not understand what I was saying. So I know exactly what you mean by that. So you came and started in North Carolina. You're now in Utah. How long have you been in Utah? Tell me.
16 years. So I was 2 years in North Carolina, and then I moved to Utah. I got a scholarship to go to BYU, Brigham Young University. So I got my associates in business. Then I got my bachelor's degree in business administration as well. Then I got my real estate license. Right now I'm studying to get my real estate broker. And I love school.
I was going to ask you that because it seems like you do love school. So definitely that's great that you continue to improve yourself. You continue to learn, and you obviously always looking for ways to get better, which is one of the, again, ideas of the podcast is share with the audience, what it is that you're doing to keep yourself, in the game and obviously bettering ourselves, because I don't think you ever know everything, regardless of the business that you're in. Like I'm in the lending, but there's always something else that we can learn. There's always something else that we can get better at. So that's amazing that you continue to put yourself in a position where you continue to learn and you continue to get that next goal for you as your broker license. Then that's going to be next for you, right?
Yes.
So tell me about real estate. So what was the reason you got into real estate? How did that real estate came into your life? Was it something you learned? How did you get into real estate?
Well, I always say by mistakes. So because I didn't know what I was doing, basically. So at that time, my husband and I, we had 2 properties and we had to sell both of them and we need to buy a bigger one, but I didn't know how real estate works. So I thought, for example, if you buy a 100K property, you had to sell it in 100K and then you had to pay commissions and everything. And I told my husband, we don't have money to pay like $20,000 or more in real estate agents' commissions. So I should get my license so we can save that money. And that is what I did. I got my real estate license.
My God.
And then little by little, people is like, friends, they knew I got my real estate license and they start asking me if they can buy a house with me. I'm like, sure. And I have my full-time job. So then in 2019, in June, I remember I was 30 something and I'm like, okay, my 35th birthday, I believe, or 36th birthday. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving my full-time job, and that is so hard, but I was already making really good money in real estate but I was afraid. And what if I don't make it? And what if I don't make any money? And what if I don't have any clients? And my dad is like, are you kidding me? Are you still thinking about that? You already told me it's June and you already make twice of what you make in the year in your full-time job.
Wow.
You are still doubting if you're going to make it.
Wow.
Okay, I guess it's time to leave my full-time job. And I did it. I was working for that company 13 years. So it was really
Oh, wow. Interesting. So you did ended up making more money on your part-time job that you were making on your full-time. And it kind of forced you into going to full force into real estate. Now, getting into the real estate, do you have any mentors? Do you have anybody that you work with and a team? What was that like? Tell me.
Well, yeah, actually, I hired a coach, and he was telling, I will talk with, I talked with another coach before, like Tom Ferry coach, and one of the people that works for him, and they told me, yes, we can help you. You can keep your full-time job. That is no problem. And, but then things like them, I didn't like it, the way that they talked to me. I felt like they were way too rude. Then I met a guy, his name is Colton Lindsay, WHR, and he told me, Abril, I can help you, but you need to quit your full-time job.
Oh, wow. So he pushed you too.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. I talked to my husband, my coach is telling me I need to quit my full-time job.
So that's interesting because a lot of times, again, you'll get certain level in your career or in your business, and that's kind of forces you go ahead and, make the move or make it a commitment to go in full time. But so you have only been always a solo agent. You never went into like a team or under somebody and start working as a buyer's agent and stuff like that. What do you started as a solo agent and being a solo agent?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I always have my full-time job, so I couldn't commit to a team
go
gotcha. Monday to Friday because I have a full-time job. And then the funny part is like, well, I need to learn how to be a real estate agent because all my clients, they come through social media. So that's means I never call them. Never.
Okay.
So people will call me and say, hey, I'm interested in buying a house, but for example, after my full-time job, I will go and drive for point A to point B to go to do a showing. And like 5 families will call me. And then I'm like, okay, this one called me for this one. And then I'm like, I forgot who called me. I will never call back. And the end. So then I hire my first assistant and, she will get all the calls and set appointments with the lenders. And if they are pre-approved, I can show houses to them because I couldn't meet with them, like do a buyer's
consultation, what they call it, right?
I didn't have time for that. Just like, if you are pre-approved, I can show you houses.
Well, that was your system, and it actually worked out, right? It did work for you.
That is how we start. And little by little, I have been double my business every year. Last year, we closed around 78 transactions. And this year, we have closed so far 80 transactions basically by myself.
Wow. And you already surpassed the numbers from last year. That's amazing.
Yes.
Good job for you. So having the mentors have always, like you said, they were important because it helped you kind of guide you through, made you make the moves that you needed to make and saw the potential. Because that's one thing I've always think is as a mentor or as a coach, you get to see your clients and you get to see, where they are and where they need to go or how much they need to be pushed to get to that next level. So that's great that you were able to pinpoint that you needed a coach to help you see what your business needed to go. So and I'm sure you're still coaching, right? You still have coaches nowadays.
Yes, I even, I have right now, I believe 3 coaches so far.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're even busier with your coaching. So you have
Yes.
3 coaches. So tell me about the market. So we're looking again, Utah right now. Utah, what do you think the market looks like?
Well, right now it's picking up. Like last month, it was really, really slow. Like every month, I would put at least 10 people under contract.
Okay.
I mean, it was like that. It was amazing, 7 to 10 people per month. And last month, I just got 2 listings.
Okay.
But we already start October, and I already have like 4 listings, and I already have 1 buyer under contract, and I have potentially to put 4 more buyers under contract. So this month is amazing.
That's beautiful. So business is doing good for you. Now, people too want to know, okay, how do somebody completely new to the business, what advice will you give to someone who's getting into the real estate and said, okay, April's doing amazing. Her business has doubled every year since she's been doing real estate. I'm a brand new agent. I have no idea where to start. What would you recommend somebody brand new? What would be the advice that you will give them? Let's say 3 things that you can pinpoint and say, if I had to start all over again myself, this is the 3 things that I wish I knew that I could have done since day one. What would those 3 be?
I think join a team that will help you a lot.
Okay.
Like having a mentor in the team that helps, because all the time I was by myself. I figured it out. But probably because I have my coaches and everything, and the cold calling, something that I never did. And I will tell Colton, but I want to be like a real estate agent, because I don't do I'm not that real estate agent. I just get clients. I don't call anyone, and I would like to learn how to do that. And until now, I'm still debating with my scripts. I have my scripts everywhere, and it's so hard to use them because the business had 2 listings coming, so that keeps me busy. Like tomorrow, right. I'm pretty sure I had 2 listings appointments, and I'm sure I'm gonna get both of them. and I didn't call them. So, like I said, I love to learn, and that's why I'm paying coaching to learn scripts, but I don't use it so far.
Okay. So going into a team will be advised. And the second one would be what? Having mentors, having coaches. And what will be the third one?
Yes, I know they are expensive, but they are so worth it. So sometimes when you just start real estate, it's so hard to have coaches. So I don't know if that is an option, but definitely that will be an option. And always, I mean, when you are open to learn, you can find ways to learn, like YouTube. I remember watching Tom Ferry, and I'm here in Banana Street for an open house, and I will do the same thing. I'm here at Banana Street. Come to my open house.
I love it because you know what? You just said something very important that I think a lot of our audience should, again, do if they're not doing it. But yes, having a coach, paying someone who directly works with you is amazing because you have that one-on-one commitment and that one-on-one time. But if you can, I think now with this technology and having access to so much, I think they can definitely, like you said, if they're ready and they're committed to learn and they're committed to get better, YouTube is there and there's so much out there that they can utilize, that they can learn from, and they can apply it, and they can go and execute and see results. Because again, if somebody have done it, if it worked, all you need to do is, I have a mentor that one time told me, find someone who has what you have, what you want, do what they do, and you'll get what they got. And it was very profound for me because a lot of times we're following certain people that, you know, we think they're successful, but a lot of times they don't have what you want. So it's very important when you listen and when you're going to follow someone. He always said, if you're going to follow someone, make sure they have what you want. Otherwise, don't follow, right? And results are very important in our business. So follow someone who has the results. You're definitely someone that I look up to because I see how you work and you're always on the go and having a family too. So kudos to you, Abril. You're doing amazing. Tell me a little bit about how do you balance, because I know you work full time and you mentioned the kids. So how are you doing nowadays with obviously one, what do you said, 20-year-old now? And
yes,
the other two little ones?
Yeah.
How do you balance that out?
Yeah, she moved out. She moved out when she was 18.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so she's not at home. But something that it's really easy for me, and I know other people struggle with that, is that I'm so easy just to delegate. I delegate as much as I can. My assistant, she will call and do the pre-listing questions, you know, and she will get those with the clients, and they're gonna put everything in my schedule, and I just need to show up.
Okay.
We'll do the CMA. I don't do phone calls. If people call me, I will tell my assistant, hey, you need to call back this number and things like that. So I don't read my email. My social media, they check my social media as well. So if they have anyone that have questions about real estate, they are the ones that they answer. They are the ones that they reply. I don't have anything to hide. So for me, it's okay if they have access to my social media. And I think that is one of the things that I'm really good at it, that I just delegate as much as I can. And honestly, most of the time I'm free, unless I have something personal.
Beautiful. So you have time to be with your kids. You have time to be with the family. Amazing, amazing. So again, keep it the balance. A lot of times as girls, as women, as mom, I think that's the one thing that I've always noticed. And I'm going to speak for myself. There are times that I feel that I'm too busy with the business, that I might be neglecting my kids. So is there any time that you feel like that? You do not share that idea? Are you able to be present with your kids when they need you? What is that like for Abril?
Like I said, before, I noticed my husband all the time that I will get a phone call, he will give me that look. And I know that look was negative. So I will get outside of the home and, answer my phone. So I respect my home. Most of the time, I will never answer my phone when
Beautiful.
I'm with the family, unless it's a client that he called me, I called him, he called me back, and I couldn't answer, and things like that.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
really, really sorry, but I need to answer this phone call. And my kids are like, yes, mom, we know that you are busy and you need to help your clients. You are good. Don't worry about it. But it's just a few times where I said, I'm sorry, but I need to answer. But most of the time, if it's not an emergency, I will ask my assistant, please call this person. Yes.
That's awesome. Well, and I think that's what it comes back to, because for me, I have 3 kids too. And I always said, when you're with the kids, be present with the kids. When you're at the office, be present at the office. And obviously that should be, again, your line. One of the books that I read, and I probably you read it too, keep the business in the business and keep the house stuff at the house. It's very important that we try to separate and keep them separate. So we don't bring work into the house and we don't bring drama from the house into the office. So I think it has worked for me, at least. And I feel like it's very important that we're able to balance those 2 things, that we do work, but we also need to be the mom and be present with our kids. Anything else you want to add? I know that you said that you're very involved with your community. I was reading your bio and it stood out for me. What is it that you do in your community? Is there anything specifically that you try to do every year? I think I saw something about pumpkin, or you were hosting an event for this month. Is that what you're doing? What was that?
Yes. So, well, since I start this journey of real estate, and I start because I didn't know where to start or how real estate works. For me, it was like, I'm going to educate the Latino community about how is to buy a house. What do you need to buy in order to buy a house? Because I struggled with that. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. And I want to be that person. And since I start doing real estate, I start with my videos. And right now, everything has changed with Facebook. Like before, when probably it was nobody, people will watch my videos, like tons of thousands of views. And now that probably I have more experience, more clients, more everything, the views are little because Facebook changed the way that it works. So that was my goal, and I did it, and I'm still working on that. I love to do videos. I love to inform the community, and that's why I'm so involved now. A lot of people, they see me as an influencer, so they will invite me to any type of events.
Nice.
Right now, I'm a sponsor for this Saturday. They are doing a makeup class, I believe, and I will be there. And I always try to give back to the community. Just like you said, I did a pumpkin patch event. Everything was free for them. And it's just a way to say thank you for their trust, because they trust me. And there is more than 20,000 real estate agents in Utah, and they chose me as the real estate agent. That is a huge blessing.
Absolutely. And you said something very important that I think for me, it's definitely every day something that I try to go home with is, what can I do to help our community? There's so much need. There's so much out there that we could be doing to educate, to, bring awareness to them, to show them the way, even with real estate. Like I'm going to throw it out there to the universe. Like my daughter says, I want to have one day an event where we can empower women, that they're able to accomplish something like you're doing, that they have the potential, that there is a way, that there is, if they're willing to put the work, if they're willing to, again, learn. There is so many opportunities that we can be taking advantage of. But a lot of times I feel like in our community, there's a lot of hesitant, or, not trusting that they're going to be good enough, or not believing in themselves. And always that I'm Hispanic, I don't speak English, I have dark hair, whatever that case might be, whatever limitations they have. Okay, there it goes, right? My accent. And this is what I wanted to send the message with this podcast is, there might be all of those things, but even with those, we can still make it. We can still be successful. We can still achieve those dreams. We can still, give us the opportunity to dream big, because there is a possibility. You're a perfect example. So let's say you have 100 women in the room right now. what will be the advice you'll give them to say, hey, if I did it, you can do it too? What will be those things that you will try to put in them that they can go home and maybe, again, work on their mindset, work on how they can every day get up and get motivated to go do something? What would the advice look like?
Well, I think the first is that, well, they need to have a vision, right? They need to have a goal. They need to have that
desire,
that they wanted to do something with their life. I mean, and sometimes just little by little, my thought always was, Abril, if you decide to do something with your life right now, or if you decided to don't do anything with your life right now, I mean, you're going to be in the same place from today to 5 years later. What I'm trying to say with that, for me, it took me almost 10 years to get my bachelor's degree.
Wow.
Because first I need to learn English, then I had to get my associate, then I had to go get my bachelor's degree, and I was pregnant, and after having a baby, seriously, I will just walk step by step in order just to make it to the classroom, because I just had a baby and I couldn't miss a class, because I'm like, if I put this as an excuse, I don't want to go anywhere.
There you go.
So I don't have excuses. I am in a country. I have freedom. I have, that security that I am safe in Mexico. It's so hard because you can have all the money of the world if you want, but sometimes that will threat your family because you are wealthy. In here, I have all those things, and you can go to the school at night. And if you don't have money, there is a lot of programs, like here is FAFSA. I remember I applied for FAFSA. The work where I was working full time, they will pay me for go to the school. The college, they will have daycare for my oldest daughter. So there is zero excuses. Just you need to want to do that. Do something
with your life. And definitely you touch a point very important. That is true. Like a lot of times we're not grateful enough. There's so many opportunities, and sometimes we don't take advantage of them, and we take them for granted. So I think it's definitely good that you touch on those areas, because there are some times that they use. I had a conversation with one of my LOs, and it was so funny because she's like, my daughter. And one of the things that came to me, and that's exactly what I told her, I said, use your kid or use your kids as a motivation, not as an excuse. And it was big because even for me, like, a lot of times we use our kids as an excuse. Oh, it's because my kid needs me. Oh, because my kid needs that. They're watching us. And that's another thing I wanted to ask you too. Like, your kids are watching you. And I think I learned, and they don't do what you say, they do what you do. So by doing their work, by going to the school, by taking that extra time, they're watching you overcome all these different obstacles that you've been thrown at you. And they learn by watching us. So what example do we want to set up for our kids, for our daughters, for our sons? So very, very, very important. Thank you so much for sharing that part of your life of going through school and having the little ones and not stopping because of them, but keep going because of them.
Yeah. And like I said, I couldn't stop the kids too, right? Like, I will wait until I finish school in order to have kids. And I'm like, no, I want to have kids too.
Exactly.
And I can do both.
You can have it. Exactly. You can have both. As long as, again, you find that way of making it work for both, for the family and for the career. So what keeps you going? What is your why? I know you talk about vision, and I paid attention. So what is your why? What keeps you motivated every day? And then we'll ask you too about what is the mission in your life that you want to leave a legacy by for your kids, for your family? What is the one thing you want people to remember April as for?
Yeah. Well, one of my things is just get better. And like I said, my competition is myself. I want to get better. I want to do better. And I want to help as much families as I can. And if I see someone else is doing that seriously keeps me motivated, like going to Mike Ferry's events and seeing one guy that he closed, I believe, 200 transactions, and I'm like, wow, I can do it, because that is my mentality. And just like you said, my kids, they see what I do, and sometimes they are way too silly because they think I am a famous person. I'm like, I'm not. And they are like, yes, mom, because you were in a magazine. Yes, mom, because you are in TV. And I'm like, no, Kelsey, no, Jason. I'm just a normal person trying to do my job and anything. But they see it. They see it.
Yes.
My oldest daughter, she knows who I am as well. So that is the cool thing about doing things right.
Absolutely. So what do you want people to remember about April? And I asked that somebody the other day, and it really, sometimes I know that we don't think about those things, but we're all going to die one day. We're all going to be gone from here. And what do you want people to remember about you? What was the one thing you want people to remember?
Like I said, for me is that I was always there for my Latino community, that I make a difference. I remember when I was, for some reason, all the real estate agents, even though they are Latinos, they are bilingual. When I start doing real estate, they will do all the content in English. And I'm like, okay, but I mean, it's better in the first language that we speak, right? Like Spanish in my case. So I will start doing everything in Spanish. And now a lot of agents that they have done everything in English, they had changed everything now to Spanish.
Oh, to Spanish.
Because they notice that their audience is Spanish speakers. So what is the point to do everything in English if you sell to the Latino community? So they start changing everything. But at that time, I was the first one, and people always remember me for that. Like, I will meet someone and people will, like on Sunday, I went to show a house for this client, and he told me, Abril, I don't know if you remember me, but I started looking for houses. So I tried to buy a house like 5 years ago when you were just starting. I remember that you have a Hyundai.
Oh,
I have a Tesla, and I'm like, oh my God. He's like, I have been looking to your videos, and I always watch everything that you are doing, and that is so motivated and everything. And a lot of ladies, they will reach out to me. The same thing, just saying thank you for all the information, thank you for everything that you are doing for the community, and that makes me happy. So even though, just like everybody says, when you think people is not looking at you, no, that is incorrect. Everybody is looking at you, at what are you doing. And it's so funny because my broker, he sent me a text the other day. Hey girl, you are killing bringing people to my brokerage. I'm gonna give you certain amount for every people that you bring. And I'm like, I haven't talked to anyone. I haven't got anyone. And he already, two people already signed a contract. I will send you this amount of money. I'm like, well, I didn't send them. They didn't talk to me. They didn't ask me. But they see what I'm doing, and they say, well, if Abril is doing this, I will do this. And everybody is moving to my brokerage.
Oh my God. So you're being now the icon for people to move over. So see, there it goes. You're making a difference, Abril, and that's amazing, because a lot of times, like you said, we don't realize how many lives we are impacting, but it is definitely beautiful to see that you're coming from your heart. You're just putting your heart out there, giving information, and just being yourself, and people will see that, and they will want to be close to you. It was funny, I posted something recently about your circle, and it's so important. A lot of times we don't realize, but it is true. We're putting that energy, that type of environment out there, and people want to be close to you. So they're following you, Abril.
Yes, they are. And it's so funny. I have met a lot of people everywhere. Like 2 days ago, I believe a guy from Texas called me, another real estate agent. Abril, I want to do, what are you doing? Because you have so much business, and how everything is working, and where do you get your clients? And I always say social media. So, yeah, but everybody's watching us. Like another realtor from California, I have an interview with her and her team, and same thing, just to be a motivation, so they can make progress, they can do better,
Absolutely.
things like that.
And that's beautiful. I think when you do that without expecting anything in return, I think that's, again, going back to our community. If we can just put that little granito de arena, the little, it'll help somebody else. Whatever the story is that they're telling themselves that they can't do it. Now, by seeing this podcast, maybe they'll be inspired and knowing that it's possible. And there's a possibility for them to do something with this career or anything else that they choose to do. I've always said, real estate is what we do. I do the loans. I love the part that I do. I get to, again, deliver the news. You qualify, and they get so excited. And then you guys go to see the homes and give them those keys when we close. It's just so rewarding. I think our job, to be honest, it's aside from the money we make, aside from, everything that we get to make such a big impact on their lives by having that first home, it's just so rewarding to know that we were able to impact this family. And if they get a house, now their kids see it as a possibility. And you're creating, again, an impact that'll go for generations, being that first family that decided to go for and just buy their house. I have met people, honestly, and they're like, well, I've been here 20 years or 30 years. I never thought it was possible until I met somebody like April. I said, yes, you can do it. Let's go get, qualified. Let's go see where you are. And that's for me, that's what motivates me. But I'm sure coming from contribution and hearing you speak, I think we're aligned, and it is definitely what motivates us is keeping this going in terms of helping families to see that there is a possibility and they can definitely achieve the dream of having their own place. Final thoughts, anything that you want to share that I have not asked you that you love to just, again, bring up to the awareness of our community? As I said, this is just for us to share what it is that we're doing and how we can impact other lives and just motivate someone else to maybe get up tomorrow and say, I'm going to go try that out. I'm going to go and get back to school, or going to go back and maybe get into real estate. Who knows? Tell me.
Well, one of the things that I have been changing, well, not changing, but educating about the Latino community, it's about that buying a house is more than just having a home, is financial freedom, because that house if you bought a house probably in 2019 and you sold it last year or at the beginning of this year, that house was already like 100,000 more, 200,000 more. And I help a lot of families that they will close a home and that home will be worth it like 100K more because it was new construction. So the time that the house was done, it's already 100K more. And they make that money instantly. So that is what I really like about real estate, besides just having a home, is that you can have that money as a savings. And sometimes we make 40,000 a year or 50,000, but a house can make 100K, 200K, and it's just like savings. So it's even better.
So financial freedom that they can build by owning properties, real estate. And then I always talk about investing. Like, that's my passion. Like, when I speak to families, I'm like, okay, you got your first home. How can we do it so you can get the second one? How can you do it to invest on that duplex, that triplex? Again, creating wealth, creating ways for them to receive income without their having to work. So I love educating our people about that, because again, they don't know, and we're the professionals, we're the ones in the business, and we need to be the ones educating them and guiding them through the process and learning how it can be accomplished. So thank you for bringing that up. It's definitely a great point that you made about creating wealth, creating financial freedom. Again, thank you again for being with me. It's been great. Look, time went like this. We didn't even felt it. It's great to have friends like you. I really enjoy spending time with you. We've been together. So thank you. I appreciate you having taking the time for me to be with me on today. So anything else you want to share? Tell them how they can follow you on social media, since you have all your social media platforms out there. How do they find you? What's your name on Facebook?
Easy. Yeah. Abril Utah Realtor. That is for everything. Facebook, Instagram, even my email. So super easy. And if you guys need any help, well, the people that is listen to this podcast and they have questions about real estate or anything, just feel free to reach me out. Absolutely. Thank you again. We'll see you soon. Un abrazo. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Level Up Podcast. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere else podcasts are found, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, you can leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Until next time, we hope you level up.